John Koudounis, how much has Abenomics transformed already, and how much more is there to go?
Well, I think there's plenty to go. The issue with the Japanese and their culture, it takes time for these changes, but it's working. If you would have to make an analogy of where we are in a baseball game, my guess would be probably around the third inning. We've seen since Abe's been in office, the Nikkei has grown over 100%, the yen's deflated by over 40%, and there's still more room to go. Things are working, it's taking time.
Well, the yen has certainly come down, but it seems like it's stuck around 120. It's having a hard time weakening past there. How and when will it get to 130, 140 so you'll see even greater growth?
Well, it's going to be a slow process as it continues to go down in price. The changes that are taking place from the monetary policy, the fiscal policy, the corporate governance, all take time to implement. One of the big things that's happening is the government is putting things into place like changing the amount of equity allocations in their pension funds. For instance, GPIF, largest pension fund in the world, $1.3 trillion. They increased their allocation from about 8% in equities to 50%. It's a big allocation, 25% in domestic equities, 25% in international equities. And we're starting to see a lot of people buying equities, reaching for yield, knowing that foreign equities, if the yen keeps deflating, it'd be better off in buying dollar product, for instance.
And which equities are the best to buy? Because we keep hearing that corporations are getting leaner and more shareholder friendly. So if you were an American investor, where would you be looking over there?
Well, a lot of people are just buying the ETFs that are pinned to the Japanese market. And I think you've seen stuff like wisdom trees, balance has just increased tremendously. And I think there's a lot of different sectors, healthcare, but the international sectors where they have global markets in different parts of the world. The M&A is another big thing. It's an indication of what's happening. You're seeing Japanese buying overseas. You're seeing, let's say, Canon buying a company in Switzerland. You're seeing us, for instance, adding to our business by buying parts of Robank of Scotland.
Well, when people think of a cheaper yen, they always think about buying Japanese exporters because the country's famous for its exports. That said, one thing we're hearing now is because of the cheap yen, they're getting a lot of tourism. People are going over there and the consumers are spending. Can you talk about that angle?
Sure. Being that I sit in the seat I sit, I have to be in Japan to report earnings at least once a quarter. So I'm there half a dozen times a year. The last time I was there a couple of weeks ago, I have never seen as many cranes. The hotel rooms are all booked. There's a lot of buzz going on. Getting restaurant reservations is really difficult. There's the 2020 Olympics that we're going to be a major sponsor of that's happening. So there's tremendous amount of tourism. The Chinese are coming in because it's cheaper to shop there, to live there, or to get a hotel room, restaurants, than it has been in the past. It used to be one of the most expensive cities in the world. Now it's a little bit more affordable.
And then finally, we've heard the Japan story before back in the 80s, and that really it crashed, if you will. So what's the biggest risk to the current Japan story?
Well, I mean, the risk is if it doesn't work. But with the current administration, they're very much committed. If you saw just a week and a half ago, I met with the Prime Minister Abe in Washington. He spoke in front of the joint sessions of Congress. And not just economically, but geopolitically, that was a big step. Never in the history of the country has a Japanese leader, prime minister, ever spoken to the U.S. joint session. So there's a lot of steps that are happening, both politically, to get closer with the United States, and economically. And I think that this time it's for real, it's happening, but it takes time. 20 years of deflation, you can't change and move that boat and turn it around in just a couple of years. And so you're seeing all the funds, you're seeing people buying Japan, you're seeing Japan buying outside. So it's starting to work, and it's taking time. Deflation is starting to go the other way. We're starting to see inflation for the first time. So it's happening.
All right. Well, thanks a lot for coming here.
Well, thank you very much. Pleasure.
And thank you for watching The Street.